Aloha. This video is a video walking you through the applying knowledge assignment. Although there is another video that gives you a great overview, this video will specifically help you walk through the assignment itself and hopefully get rid of any confusion you may have. When you go to the assignment site, it's basically where the discussion is, and you have a couple set of instructions. The first one is instructions on how to do your project. You can find it here. These links have the exact same information. This link, I'm going to open them both. The first link here, this is just a page that you can find in Canvas that gives you information on how to do the assignment. Some people like to have something to download and keep with them, and in that case this is the exact same information, but it's a downloadable document. So you can go to File and you can go to Download As, and then you can download the document and then print it off if you need it. The assignment is that you're going to choose one of two topics to demonstrate your expertise on and explain it to the class. You have two topics to choose from. You can either do defining communication this time around, because this is for the first applying knowledge assignment, or you can concentrate on intercultural communication. Regardless of the topic you choose, you must touch upon each one of these aspects in your project. Okay, so if you're doing a project, you're going to want to make sure that each one of these aspects are in here, as well as a good introduction to the project and a good conclusion to the project. Don't just jump into your project. You want to construct it in such a way that everybody can follow along in a logical way. You're going to demonstrate this information with using a media activity, okay? So basically, I don't want to see any academic papers for this project. I want you to think outside the box. In our world today, most information is not given through papers or reports, but rather we see them through online PowerPoints and infographics and cartoons and different kind of tools, videos, audio recordings. So you're going to present your information in a media presentation rather than an academic paper. I do not want to see any academic papers for this assignment, okay? So I give you several different activities to choose from, but you are welcome to do a different activity if you propose it to me. For example, you could do a 5-minute video or podcast in the spirit of a TED Talk. In that case, I really want you to learn what it means to do a TED Talk. Because just sitting in front of your computer and reading from a piece of paper is not the same as a TED Talk. So take some time to research these different medias and how you best present in them, because that's part of the communication process, right? And we're learning how to communicate well. So this is a great link about how to structure a TED Talk. Take your time, look at it. It's not nearly as complicated as you may think, and you can still sit in front of your computer or your phone and record yourself. Just make sure you do it in an engaging way. You can make an infographic for this, and in that case, it's going to be a very visual presentation, okay? So you're going to want to have a lot of visuals in your presentation and very little text. Again, check out the best way to do infographics. Don't make the assumption you know how to use the media. And the same goes for if you do PowerPoints or Prezis or a Google slide. A lot of people think that they know exactly how to do these different types of technology, but you're often incorrect, including myself. So look for best practices. If you're going to do a PowerPoint or a Prezi or a Google slide, and they're basically all the same type of presentation, this is more visual. This is a good combination between visual and text presentation. So you're going to want like at least 50-50 between the two. And the nice thing about PowerPoints, and especially Prezis, is that you can also have other multimedia aspects, like you can link to a YouTube video, for example. All right. If you want to create your own graphic comic, and this is not as difficult as you may think. Matter of fact, it's a point and click kind of process, but it's a lot of fun. And this, of course, is a very visual presentation. So you're going to want to have a storyline that explains your topic rather than a lecture. And you're going to want characters to take you along that journey. You can also do a podcast, but if you do a podcast, again, remember this is a very audio kind of presentation, so you're going to explain it, but you want to do it in an engaging way. So choose an activity. If you do podcasts and videos, please try to keep it around the 5-minute mark. If you go a little bit over, I understand, but remember we live in the world of short attention spans. So you want to make sure that your audience listens or engages in your full project rather than just part of the project. For any project that is visually or audible emphasis, such as a video or a podcast, that kind of thing, you're going to want to have some music in your project or some video or something like that, or even images, right? But if you do that, you need to make sure that the images and the music and the videos that you use, that they are either copyright free or they are part of the commons, the Creative Commons. So you're pretty usually safe to use any YouTube video that you find, but when it comes to music and images, you must be really, really careful because it's illegal to use images that are copyrighted. Okay, so these are some resources that will take you to places where you can find content that are totally allowed for you to use. Okay. After you create your project, you're going to go into the discussion area and you're going to introduce your project to the class. You're going to state what your topic is about. Don't just, you can use a title, that's fine, but you're also going to explain why you decided to do the media you use to explain your project and why and how that particular media helps you present the topic. And then also explain in your initial post if there was any drawbacks you found to the media you decided. Like if you decided to do an infographic, was that too difficult of a way of explaining this topic and why? Then you're going to attach or link to or upload your project to the discussion area. Okay, and you want to test your links. So if you're doing an infographic, you want to make sure when you post it that your link actually works. The best way to do this is to sign out of any accounts you may have, except for, of course, Canvas. And then you're going to click on the link and see if it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, that means you have to figure out the best way to get that link and post a good link. Please contact me if you have any problems in this area. If you are doing an infographic, if you're doing an audio or video presentation, you can record it on your phone, but you can also record right here in Canvas by clicking on this here. You can make either a media, let me just run this, there we go. You can do either a media recording or you can do an audio recording. This one here allows you to record with a webcam, and this down here allows you just to use your microphone. It depends on what you want to do for your project. You'll have to give it permission, but it's a good option. All right, so finally, the last aspect of this assignment is you're going to self-assess your work. You're going to let us know how well you think you did, and this link takes you to the self-assessment. You must do your self-assessment at the same time as you post your project. This link takes you to here. This is a Google form. And you're just going to answer these questions about your process. I want you to answer honestly. okay? Because the whole point of doing a self-assessment is not just to give yourself an A and then walk away. The point is for you to really look at yourself and go, how did I do in this project? Did I give myself enough time? Did I take a good amount of time to research the media I decided to use? Did I take a good amount of time to research and become an expert on the topic I am presenting? Was my presentation well written? Did it show few mistakes? Be honest with yourself. Was it logical? Did you use your textbook or did you go out to the internet and just find information? Be honest with yourself and with me because I will be looking at your self-assessment and giving you feedback on it. Keep in mind the following about the self-assessments. This is what the grade you give yourself means. If you give yourself a perfect score all the way around your self-assessment, that means you honestly believe that there are no real improvements to be made in your process, in the presentation, or your knowledge. I rarely got through college with a perfect score because I'm a student and I was a student. And so we almost always have to do more work to get that perfect grade. But if you really honestly believe you're there, let me know. But don't just randomly give yourself a perfect score because you're trying to learn, and it's very important, this skill, to assess where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are and where you can improve. This also means don't be too hard on yourself. Give yourself a break, but don't have any illusions either. Try to be very honest with yourself. So each one of these kind of explains where you're at. A minus is a really strong presentation overall, but there are still a few improvements that can be made. A B means it was a very good presentation, a B plus to a B minus, and so on and so forth. So please read each of these aspects before you self-assess yourself and really be honest with yourself. Now, the grade you give yourself, you may end up having as the overall grade for the assignment. I will let you know if I think you are totally off target with your self-assessment or not. If you and I are within a couple points difference and you have given yourself a higher grade, I probably will just give you that grade. But if we seem to be on two very different pages about your process and the work you turned in, then I will give you an overview about why I'm not going to let you keep the grade that you have assigned yourself. But if you're just being honest with yourself, chances are you're going to be able to keep that grade, all right? And then the last bit of this assignment is after everybody has posted their projects, your first reply is you're going to reply to at least one classmate. You're going to look at their project and you're going to explain at least two things that you really liked about their project. What went well? I want two things, not one. And then you're going to give them one thing that that person could have improved upon. You want to be specific, okay? Really look at a specific point in their project and say, this worked, but I think you could have improved upon it by doing this. Specific feedback is more helpful than general feedback because specific feedback empowers the person to specifically know, okay, if I do this next time, this is how I can improve my work. For your second reply, you'll want to answer a classmate who has offered a critique on your project. Now, occasionally, unfortunately, some people don't get a critique on their project. And if that's the case, you'll want to go back and do the same thing as you did here with your first reply. But hopefully you will get somebody commenting on your project and you can engage in conversation there. And that is it. You have two applying knowledge assignments in this class. These are the biggest projects for this class. And I want you to take a good amount of time in composing your project and becoming an expert in one of the topics. The next applying knowledge assignment you do, you will be given two different topics to choose from, and you'll have to choose a new activity. And that's it. I hope that this walkthrough is helpful. And if you have any additional questions, please contact me as soon as possible. And that is it. Have a great day and aloha.